Hey, how's it guys? In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to build a taggable sidebar using PyQt6. A sidebar is a key element in UI design that is for enhancing navigation and organization by providing a dedicated space for additional functionalities alongside the main content. The main purpose is to help users to streamline their user experience and improve accessibilities across different devices or across different UIs. Now here on the screen is going to be the example that I'm going to show you to create a taggable sidebar. Now the area on the left is going to be the taggable sidebar, and we have this push button toggle to basically collapse and expand the sidebar. Right, so first we're going to import the sys library, and from PyQt6.qt widgets, we're going to import QApplication, QWidget, QHbox layout, QFeedbox layout, QFrame, QPushButton, and QStyle. Now to create the taggable sidebar, so basically the approach is that we're going to create two different sidebars. One is going to be the expanded sidebar, and the other one is going to be the collapse sidebar. So we need to basically toggle those two widgets based on the trigger. Now first I'm going to create the base, the sidebar base. So I'm going to name the class sidebar base, and I'll pass QWidget as the base class. Now inside the constructor, I'm going to set the main layout using QFeedbox layout. Then using the setLayout method, we're going to take the self.layout object as the main layout. Now because you cannot hide a feedbox layout manager, only widgets has the capability to toggle the visibility. So here we're going to insert the widgets in a QFrame object. I'm going to create a QFrame object called self.frame. That'll set the QFrame style. That'll set the line width to 2. So the line width is going to be the border's width. And I'll set the mid line width to 3. So the mid line width is going to be the main line when the frame is styled with certain frame shapes that supports a mid line width style. Then I'm going to add the frame object to the self.layout object using the .addWidget method. So this frame object is going to be the base that's going to contain all the widgets or layouts. And to add the widgets, I'm going to create a feedbox layout called self.frame layout. Then we're going to set the layout to the self.frame object using setLayout method. Alright, so that's going to be the sidebar base class. I'm going to create my main app window, and it's going to be the base window. So first I'm going to create a class called app window, and I'll use QWidget as the base class. And here I'm going to set the window title to Toggleable Sidebar, and I'll set the window size to 800 by 800. And let's go ahead and insert the entry point. So I'm going to insert if statement to check if this is the main script. Then I'm going to construct the QApplication instance, and I'll set the style to Fusion. And I'll create my app window object and use .show to display the window. And we need to run the app.execute method to keep the event loop running, and use the system.exit method to terminate the process. Alright, so going back to the app window class, I'm going to go ahead and construct my layouts. And again, each class is going to have their own dedicated layout managers. And for the app window class, I'm going to use QFeedbox layout as the main layout. Then I'm going to create a sub layout called subMain, and it's going to be a horizontal box layout. And I'll add the subMain layout to the main layout using the addLayout method. Now we're going to create the interface or inserting the widgets. But first, let's start with one sidebar interface at a time. So I'm going to insert the sidebar collapse class. and I'll pass the sidebar base class as the base class. Inside the class, I'm going to create a method called initUI to construct the interface. So basically, you want to create two sets of sidebars. Now in the class sidebar, I'm going to simply insert a push button, and I'll assign an icon. Then I'm going to add the widget, in this case will be a push button, to the frame layout object from the sidebar base class, and which is going to be this object right here. And while we're working on the class sidebar class, let's go ahead and also create the expand the sidebar class. Now, if we look at these two classes, you'll notice that they look very similar, except that for the class sidebar class, the push button does not have the text. First, the expand the sidebar, the push button has the text click me. Now, going back to the app window class, and let me come out these two lines. And I'll code the initUI method in the constructor. Alright, so let me look at what we have so far. So we have two sets of sidebar side by side. So this is going to be the expanded version, and the one on the right is going to be the collapse version. And to control the width of those two sidebars, so I'm going to insert a method called config sidebar. Now, if we look at this method, we're going to set the height, the same height as the app window. And for the width, for the collapse sidebar, I'm going to set the width to 100. And for the expanded sidebar, I'm going to set the width to 300. And here in the initUI method, I'm going to call the config sidebar method. And when I launch the application, I want to display the expanded sidebar first. So I'm going to reference the sidebar collapse object .height to hide the UI. And if you launch the application, and it's what the default UI looks like. Now I'm going to insert a VBox layout object to hold the button to toggle the sidebar. And I'm going to name the layout as buttons. And I'll add the button layout to the sub main layout, which is the horizontal box layout that we created before. Then I'm going to create the toggle push button, and I'll reference toggle sidebar method to the click signal. And I'll add the button to the buttons layout. Now, this is going to be the last step. So we're going to create the toggle sidebar method. So if we look at the if statement here, so basically we're checking the visibility of one of the sidebars. In this case, I'm going to use collapse sidebar to check the visibility. Now, if the collapse sidebar is visible, then we're going to hide the collapse sidebar and display the other sidebar, and vice versa. And to test the sidebar, we'll launch the application. Now here we have basically two areas side by side. The area on the left is going to be the sidebar area, and the area on the right is going to be the main area that you interact with different contents. Now here I can simply click on toggle to expand or collapse the sidebar on the left. And basically that's going to be the core concept, how people create the toggleable sidebar in their UI. Now this is going to be everything I'm going to cover in this tutorial, and hopefully you guys find this video useful. For more tutorials, make sure that you subscribe and don't forget to like the video. And if you have any questions or topics you would like me to cover in the future videos, please leave a comment below. Happy coding, and I'll see you guys in the next video.